Well, we begin with some breaking news, and Russian President Vladimir Putin says the Syrian regime and the opposition have agreed to a ceasefire. It's due to come into force at 22 GMT. Russia and Turkey finalized the terms of the deal on Wednesday. Now, Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu says Ankara will be a guarantor for rebel groups.
Ateşkes olmadan
The political talks will be started following that ceasefire. We don't know at which level the regime would join, but according to this agreement, the parties are going to decide the representative teams for themselves. But of course, Turkey has some conditions here. One of those is about the YPG. The YPG is a terrorist group, and the opposition considers them as a terrorist group as well. Thus, such a group must not have a place at the table for the political talks.
Let's cross straight now to Daria Bondarchuk, who joins us live from Moscow. Daria, fill us in on some of the conditions here, according to what Russia has had to say.
Well, Russia's President Vladimir Putin said just earlier that 3 documents have been signed. One is on a ceasefire in Syria. The second one is on a group of measures to implement that ceasefire. And a third one is concerning the peace talks, the readiness of the parts to start peaceful negotiations for the Syrian crisis resolution. Now, Vladimir Putin has said that these agreements that have been reached are still very fragile, and they require special attention and very careful work, as well as a constant contact with Russia's partners in this agreement that have been reached between the Syrian government and the opposition forces. We also know that the Ministry of Defense said that 7 core groups of the opposition have joined this ceasefire agreement with the Syrian regime, and a total number of fighters and opposition rebels that have so far joined an agreement with Damascus account for up to 60,000 people. That's the numbers given by the Ministry of Defense. And also the Defense Minister Shoigu said that groups that do not join this effort, this ceasefire that's been just brokered, will be considered as terrorists. Also, Russia's foreign ministry has said that these agreements that have been reached and confirmed today by Russia's President Vladimir Putin will be shared with the United Nations, the Security Council, and also said that other countries are welcome to join these efforts and these agreements. In particular, the countries who will be offered to join this initiative are Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Qatar, and Iraq. The United States are also welcome to work with Russia and its partners and a wider group of countries on this ceasefire and the Syrian crisis resolution. But according to what Russian media has broadcast, this welcome is extended to the new administration of President-elect Donald Trump. Also, Russia's foreign ministry said that both Turkey and that Turkey, Iran, and Russia, 3 parties are getting underway to prepare for upcoming peaceful negotiations in Astana in Kazakhstan.
Daria, tell us if you can how this all seemingly happened so quickly. I mean, there had been talks underway for months and months in Geneva, and it seems like Russia and Turkey were able to come to the table and come up with a nationwide deal almost instantaneously.
Well, that remains a question. There have been no more further comments on how this has become so quickly, but there have been indications as from the Turkish side as well as previously. There have been talks about preparing some sort of neutral platform. These preparations being made by Iran, Turkey, and Moscow to sort of gather and discuss the Syrian crisis resolution in a neutral platform in the capital of Kazakhstan. So basically, it indicates that there have been efforts of weeks, if not months, behind this deal that has just been confirmed by Russia's President Vladimir Putin.
Okay, Daria, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much for that from Moscow. And now we can cross live to Hasan Abdullah, who can join us from the Turkish capital, Ankara. Hi, Hasan. Fill us in on some of the details of this agreement from Turkey's perspective, then. What have they said are the terms going forward?
Well, there was some debate on the groups that should not be included in this ceasefire agreement. And there had been reservations from some officials here in Ankara and also some members of the opposition about Jabhat Fath al-Sham, because Jabhat Fath al-Sham, that was previously operating as Al-Nusra Front, is on the United Nations Security Council list of terrorist organizations. However, the perspective of large chunks of this group is that they have disassociated themselves from Al-Qaeda and are pursuing a very localized sort of agenda, so they should not be a part of this exclusion. This was one of the points of debate. However, at the moment, we understand that the JFS would be included in this list of exclusion, the list of terrorist organizations that would not be part of the ceasefire agreement. Now, all the parties are required not to carry out any form of assaults against each other, and this includes air assaults. But what is not very clear, and some officials are saying that what is likely to happen is that when groups like Daesh are targeted, it is possible that some other groups that have been targeted previously by parties like Russia may continue to be targeted under the pretext of action against Daesh. So this is a matter of concern because some officials here are saying that this could threaten the ceasefire process.
Hasan, have you heard anything reaction-wise from the various parties that are involved, particularly those 7 core opposition groups that have been included in this ceasefire? What are they saying about this agreement?
Well, officially, those parties have not responded. Later on in the day, we are expecting one of the lawyers of one of the opposition groups from Syria. He is in Ankara and he's likely to issue a statement on this. But at the moment, we've had some reservations from groups like the Free Syria Army, who have said that this exclusion of groups which they class as legitimate opposition groups is not acceptable. It is going to affect the ceasefire, but at this point in time, we are waiting for an official reaction from these opposition groups.
Okay, Hasan, we'll leave it there for now, and we'll check in with you later. Thanks so much for bringing us that from Ankara. Now we can cross to Alican Ayanlar, who joins us live from Idlib province in Syria. Hi, Alican. This nationwide ceasefire now set to take effect at midnight, December 30th. What challenges might implementing this present from where you are?
Well, Andrea, if this ceasefire deal gets implemented and starts at 2200 GMT, it looks like it's going to be a major breakthrough in this country's 5.5-year conflict. After the successful evacuation of residents from eastern Aleppo, the sides, particularly Russia and Turkey, are building upon this momentum and sort of working with this in declaring this nationwide ceasefire. But when you look at the groups that have been excluded from this ceasefire deal, the terrorist groups named by the United Nations Security Council, namely Daesh and what Hasan Abdullah was talking about in Ankara, Jabhat Fath al-Sham, or the group formerly known as Al-Nusra, there could be some problems, and I'll tell you why. The road that you see behind me is the road between Idlib and Aleppo. This is about a 40-kilometer stretch of land, and there are several checkpoints along this 40-kilometer road, many of them located very close to each other. And each of these checkpoints are sort of controlled by the various faction groups, including Ahrar al-Sham, and then about 100 meters down the road you have Fatah Jabhat al-Sham, or the group formerly known as Al-Nusra. Now, if these groups, if Nusra is excluded from this ceasefire deal, it could mean that the regime could continue their strikes against this group. Because they're located so close to each other, there could be some undesired results in these attacks. So we're going to have to wait and see how they position themselves. It's an extremely fluid situation here, Andrea.
But Alican, are you hearing anything from civilians on the ground where you are and how they're feeling just about the prospect of a functional ceasefire being implemented?
Well, we aren't able to push much further from our location here because of security concerns, but I can tell you that aid agencies are very much looking forward for this much-needed ceasefire. They've been preparing for the last, since the evacuation of eastern Aleppo began, but even more so since this morning. As we were driving on from the Turkish side into Syria, we saw a much larger convoy, much larger than anything that we've seen in the past 8 days or so. So they are anticipating this, and they would like to deliver that much-needed aid to, especially to those tens of thousands of the residents of eastern Aleppo that have fled into the countryside in Aleppo province, as well as here in Idlib.
Okay, Ali John, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much for that.